When you're redoing a border and you have just one key plant that you want to keep, and you know that one grows well in the conditions, and then you're working out what on earth do you put with it, that's what I'm trying to do in this series of videos. Hello, I'm Rosie Hardy. This is Rosie Hardy Gardening. So for instance, in this particular set of plants that I've got here, I am starting with the plant that I definitely want to keep, and that is Eurybia divaricata. Now this is a really good plant for shady spots. It will go in good soil in shade, it will go in slightly drier soil and shade. So you have to then find plants that will go with it, that complement it. And you know, that is just something that you learn by the process of growing plants in your own garden. I'm just trying to help you and give you some ideas as to what you can put in there. So I have the Eurybia divaricata. It's going to get up to 2 feet by about 2 feet. It makes big clumps. So that is 60 centimetres by 60 centimetres. Lovely dark burgundy wiry stems, holds itself up well. Beautiful white daisy flowers with a yellow centre, all held above the top. Broad foliage which is slightly lighter green. So that in itself is a really beautiful plant. Now to mix in with that, I've gone for something slightly lower. Remember, we're in a shady spot, so you need things that are going to look good or contrast with whatever you've got in there. With shade on this, I'm talking about light shade, not deep shade, and I'm talking about perhaps even part shade, whereby you get sun for half of the day and then you get shade for the other half of the day, and I'm not worried which way around. So I've put this lovely light lemon yellow Coreopsis down here as well. When you have white with a yellow centre, then you get this yellow, it all picks up really nicely. This is a very wiry growth on this Coreopsis. This is Coreopsis verticilliata and it's Moonbeam. And quite often with the verticilliata types, people think that they should go in full sun and free draining soil. Well, actually, this grows far better when it is put into a semi-shady spot with a little bit of organic matter, and then it does incredibly well, and it will flower and flower and flower, and you can deadhead, you can cut it back a bit and it will come back up again. So that is wonderful. You don't need to stake that. None of the plants that I have chosen are going to need to stake. They will all hold themselves up well. Then we've got something that's coming into a second flowering. This is Astrantia Burgundy Manor. Now Astrantia Burgundy Manor has beautiful big dark burgundy flowers, good strong stems. Again, you've got this burgundy colour here, burgundy colour there, so that picks up the coloration over here. Lovely big foliage at the bottom, so when it was cut back after the first spring flowering, it was cut back to the foliage, and now the reblooming is starting and you get these wonderful flowers on there. And then at the other end of this area, we've got the beautiful front here, an Epimedium. This is Epimedium grandiflorum, has huge big white flowers, and when you get new foliage you get this wonderful bronze burgundy coloration on there as well. Now this is doing a secondary flower. They will do that quite often, especially if there's been a little bit of heat and then a bit of wet, they will come back up into flower. So that's always wonderful to know. It's not as big as its spring flowering. The Epimedium has wonderful low foliage, really good for the front of your borders, and it loves a shady spot. Behind that we get this wonderful anemone. This is anemone Frilly Knickers. It has foliage at the base here making really beautiful mounds. This is not a running type of anemone, this is a clump former. So the clumps will be around about 18 inches, 45 centimetres, foliage up to just under a foot, and then the flowers above that going up to just around about 2 feet. Wonderful semi-double flowers which are white with a little hint of lilac, and the reverse is a beautiful lilac colour. So those are going to flower and flower and flower right the way through from mid-late August, which is where we are now, mid-late summer into the autumn, right the way through. Really fabulous things, so they are easy to grow. These particular ones are happier in a bit of shade with a little bit of good garden compost put in with them as well. So all of these are going to be deciduous. Because they are deciduous, you're not going to get an awful lot of interest there through the winter months, other than just leaving the stems, and you will get beautiful seed heads on these, so it's well worth doing that. And then in the spring they'll start to regrow up. You'll get flower on the Epimedium and the Astrantia early on. You will get foliage on all of the other plants, and it will just make a really good ground cover for putting in spring bulbs in between that as well. So hopefully this gives you some inspiration to think about what you will be wanting to put into those types of areas. Thank you very much for watching, and please do subscribe to the channel. If you want to watch another video of mine, YouTube thinks this one is perfect for you.